Om Shanti, good morning, all of you. So, we are revising the Murli of 25th March 1990, and welcome to the English Avyak Murli Reading Club. So, we covered the second part yesterday where Baba was alluding to that how it's important in service. There is no compulsion, there is no comparison, no competition, and also how Baba said, Kam kharch bala nashin, which means with little bit of expense, we can get a lot of returns or a lot of glory. So, a lot of glory at little expense. And also, Baba spoke about a very important thing that this is the godly task. In this godly task, how you have to serve the cooperative souls by doing Sneha Milans. So, he spoke about very beautifully and at great length that how all these small Sneha Milan programs, they help you to prepare the foundation. And then later on, when you do a big function, that itself then glorifies the organization. The foundation for all these big programs, making 1 lakh audience, foundation for that is all these tiny Sneha Milans. So we'll read further. I'll start sharing the screen. We had left on the page where Baba is speaking about, he's saying the third thing is about self-progress. So I'll just share the screen. Yeah. So I'm sure you can see. I'll just read it from this paragraph, which gives us a perspective to understand that what Baba is trying to say. So today Bab Dada received a message that he had to speak about this. And what this? That Baba is a server. So a server means in one way he is, no, I must not say like a slave, but whatever we ask him, he does it. He follows the message from the children. Acha, now the third thing is for self-progress. So we can say Swaparivartan, or that is self-transformation. Self-progress would be Sapurusharth in one way. So previously also you had heard that you have to accumulate all three accounts for self-progress. Now, I don't remember which Murli Baba is speaking about these three accounts, but we could churn on that. All of you could also do that. Meanwhile, as I read the Murli, if it clicks you, which are those three accounts, you can put it in the chat box. So this is for self-progress. We spoke about the various ways to serve. It was Tan Man Dhan, that is body, mind, and wealth, and thoughts, words, and action, that is Mansa, Vacha, Karmana. So these were three different types of service. Let's see what about the three accounts of self-progress Baba has to say. So that's for self-progress, but as well as this, Babdada is seeing the result of the expansion of service, as well as the instrument souls, whom you call the instrument servers. Babdada does not use the word teachers so much because at some places, by considering themselves to be teachers, they become very intoxicated. And I don't know why Baba has said that, probably intoxication in a wrong way, that they consider themselves to be bosses or sort of dominating that, yes, I am a teacher, you're a student. But Baba says, no, all of you all are, even the BK teachers, all of you all are students. So this is why he says the word instrument servers. So now, together with service, there should first be very good progress in the method of the efforts of the instrument servers. So remember here, when Baba is speaking about the instruments, all of us are instruments. It's not only the BK teacher sisters or BK surrender brothers. No, it's every one of us. So there should be progress. This is why whatever is happening through the speed of service and according to the time, Bab Dada always says that that is good. However, seeing the speed of time and the final completion of the stage of service, Bab Dada thinks that if there is expansion in the method of effort of all the servers, service can increase 4 times as much. So I took a pause because I was trying to just absorb what Baba is saying. So Baba is saying here that it's very important to understand what he's trying to say here, that you'll have to expand the service, no doubt, but hand in hand, you should also be expanding the method of your effort. Purusharth ki vidhi. For all of us, all the servers, as I said, surrendered, non surrendered, dash dash. And if my method is expanding, which means if in my effort making, I'm really putting in a lot of method, vidhi se siddhi hogi, then vidhi means the method, I can get good success, and then the service can increase, he's saying, 4 times as much. So this is why that service, which means the service of self progress, is the most essential of all. So what will you do for this? Fix a definite time for service, and also definitely fix a specific separate time for increasing effort. Willpower is now needed in the souls who are instruments for service. And by increasing your willpower, you can will others to the Father by making them cooperative. Baba uses this word very uh, beautifully. He uses the word willpower, and then he also says you have to will everything to Baba. And now here he's saying that if you have good willpower, you can will others to the Father, means all the other souls. You can make them worthy of receiving Baba's will by making them cooperative. So many souls have a desire for your cooperation because they do not have any power in themselves. So you especially have to give that help of your own powers. This is why, although those instruments who are servers have the power of all Shaktis, they do not have it to the extent that they should be having. So Baba is targeting the instrument servers because people are looking out for our powers. They are dependent on our powers. And if I am not powerful, I won't be able to help them because they have to use it for themselves. They are not able to give full powers to others. They have to use some for themselves and then some for others. So just as Brahma Baba willed his powers to the Shaktis, to the children, so this task is being carried out through that will as well. At the beginning, he willed his wealth through which the yagya was established. So we know Brahma Baba, like if you go in Tan Man Dhan, we start with the body, his entire body. Baba just got rid of this body consciousness fully, Brahma Baba. And he willed his body, gave it on loan to Shiv Baba. Second, mind. Because his mind was taken over by Shiv Baba. So everything, mind and intellect, was surrendered fully to Shiv Baba. And most important, we know the wealth. The 14 years, obviously not just one family, the Kriplani family of Brahma Baba, but also the other families who all had surrendered all their wealth. And not only their wealth, but their family, their children, everything for the task of establishment, for this higher task of Baba. And at the end, he willed his powers, Brahma Baba. We saw he willed all his powers to Dadi Prakashmani. And service is now expanding through this. But Brahma has already done this. So it is the children now who have to follow, is it not? So how many souls emerge through the will of one Brahma? And we know Brahma's avyakt part is much more powerful than the Sakar part. So they did come, didn't they? And they are still coming. To this date also souls are coming. If all of these instrument servers will their powers in the way to other souls, what will happen? So this is now essential. It is not now necessary for the souls who are instruments for service to waste energy on their own efforts. Very important. Baba is being strict here that don't use for yourself now your energy, because that is in one way wasting energy. Even if they have, even if they do have to have self progress, there is also waste. And this is why the speed of the efforts of the servers should be even greater according to the speed of time, according to the completion of service. So it's important to understand that Baba is not against us, against our self progress, but he's being very demanding here or commanding as a commander in chief and trying to say that it's too much of time now you all have spent in this. Remember, this Murli is of 1990. How many years? 36 years have been passed when Baba said that time that your speed is still very slow, maybe like a snail or something. We have to really work up on our speed and not waste a lot of time, money, energy on our own efforts. At present, you have little games in between. And what are those games? He's telling us in detail. So each one of you should make yourself an instrument for self progress from your heart. You should not see others. You should not tell others, first you in this, pehle aap. You should tell yourself, first you in this. And we are very smart, Baba says. When it comes to self progress, or rather, when it comes to attainments, or when it comes to receiving anything from the yagya or from Baba, right? We should all we say okay, pehle aap, right? But when it comes to swapurushat, self effort or self progress, it is I who have to be responsible for my effort. So tell yourself first you in this, and then you have to consider from your heart with your own enthusiasm that you have to become Arjuna. To become Arjuna means to become Master Brahma. To become number one means to become Arjuna. You have been keeping programs for self progress according to the program. But this year, Bab Dada wishes to see the visible form of the love of each loving soul in the form of progress from the heart and not according to the program. So Baba is saying we should not be giving you a schedule or a protocol or a timetable to follow. You have to set your own timetable, and that is coming from the heart. And from the heart, which value emerges or virtue? It's the love. So the love should be visible in a visible form from each loving soul. When there is love, to sacrifice something is love, not a difficulty. And that is why there is the zeal in everyone's heart that there will be success. If there is love for the Father, this time Baba will see the love from the heart. Even if you have to sacrifice something, what is the big deal? You know what you have to sacrifice for the success of service. And this is why you need time for this also. You definitely have to do service, and there definitely has to be self progress. This time, Bab Dada is giving his time for meeting in this. But Bab Dada will make a further program on seeing the result. But, so he says, I'll make a program in future for seeing your result. But, then Baba says, there is a but in this also. It isn't that he won't come. He'll come for those who were not able to come this year, whether they are from abroad or from this land. And remember, I think this is March 1990, so probably it's the last Murli of that season. March, usually Baba bids goodbye to us, and October he comes. So he's also telling you the method he will adopt for them. For the Bharatvasis, they have 5 days in which to be refreshed, and 1 day for coming, and 1 day for going. So this is the usual trend. 5 days at Madhuban, 3 days for self progress, and 1 day coming and going. And according to this method, there will be 4 groups for the Bharatvasis. And there will be 3 groups of the double foreigners. So usually we have around 8 to 9 Baba Milans, but Baba is just trying to roughly say more groups for Bharatvasis and less for double foreigners. So for the double foreigners, let them stay for 15 days as they are doing now, because they come from far off lands. 2 weeks is actually quite little. But there will be 3 groups of the foreigners and 4 groups of the Bharatvasis. You will fix the time for this, because Babdada will meet each group once through the Murli and once through the group meeting. So he's specifically saying that. So once is the Behad ki unlimited Murli, which I'll be meeting all of you all, and then once a special group meeting. And so some time will be for meeting, and for the time that remains, there should be special groups of servers, even if there is one group of the foreigners. But it all should be in Madhuban. You like it to be in Madhuban, don't you? Or do you prefer London? But you yourselves can make the program according to the salvation or convenience of those from this land, the foreign lands, and from Madhuban. So, nevertheless, Baba is giving us some concession that you can make your own program, your schedule according to your convenience. One group can come first, and Babdada will come to meet them in the middle of the period. And then, when the second group comes, Babdada will come sometime after that group has been there. And so you can have a time gap in between, just as the foreigners come in December and then in March. And so these three turns Baba is speaking about double foreigners. Usually the first season is the first Milan of the season is October, which is always double foreigners. Usually in March, also the last season, there are quite a few double foreigners. And then in midway, it's December when they come for the new year as well. And now usually it's coalescing. It's like all the seasons, all the double foreigners are there because there are so many in number now. So you can have two groups in one month and one group in the other month. So he's just trying to say, see, he's speaking so much in detail. He's being very flexible though. And the Bharatvasis have the 18th of January anyway. The foreigners have Shivratri and the Bharatvasis have the 18th of January. So the months of September and November are very good for service. And so do full force in these 2 months. Sorry, do full force service in these 2 months. But make groups of the servers for the rest of the time. However, do not forget what Babdada said before, that your progress should not be according to the program. Let there be progress from the heart. Have a bhatti of progress from the enthusiasm of your heart. And have this determined thought for yourself, and have determination from your heart that I have to change, I have to become Arjuna, and I have to become Master Brahma. So, not only Arjuna, but today Baba is saying Master Brahma. And then this was the third point of self progress. Now he's moving on to fourth point, saying it's the last point for the Murli. Fourthly, whatever service places there are, at each service place, let there be a program for self progress. That which you call a retreat or a gathering of love for at least 8 days, if possible. Have it for 15 days. So 2 weeks, Baba is saying, have a retreat for the self. And nothing but again like a Sneha Milan, that is gathering of love. Each center can have it individually, or the small centers can meet together. But each godly student, each Brahman soul has to make this program for a retreat or a Sneha Milan for self progress, or a program for progress in effort from the heart. It isn't that only the servers should do this, but all the Brahman souls from all the four directions have to be given this chance, and they have to take it also. So Babdada is also telling you an incognito secret, that those who have a bhatti for special progress from their heart will receive a gift of extra blessings from Babdada. So are we ready to get that gift of extra blessings? Why not? A physical gift is not a big thing, but Babdada has those souls on television at every second, and he can see everyone at the same moment. And it's not about the television screens which we see in Madhuban. No, it's about Babdada's television, which is always on. At any time, he can switch it on, and it's in a second he can see the children of the world, all the souls. And he can see everyone at the same moment. Remember, all the children and at the same moment. And this not only includes we, the Brahmin souls, but also all the other souls who are not in knowledge. So, this is why those who have the thought for progress from their heart and who do progress will definitely receive and experience special blessings. Consider that day to be a day of special blessings. Acha? So, all aspects are covered. Is anything remaining now? And now I think Babdada is trying to revise here. So, first of all, as we started day before yesterday, have this newness in the meetings. It shouldn't be that some programs are created from the head for service, but let them be created from the heart. So, there has been greater emphasis on the head. But did you hear what has to happen now? Then the program for next year will be created after the result of this one. So this year will be for the new ones, the ones who are yet to come. And after that, a new plan will be created for the older ones. Acha. So now he's giving us Yad Pyar, remembrance and love. So we'll revise the entire 3 days what we read in parts. So to those who constantly have the spirituality of purity on their face and in their activity, to the elevated souls who are brahmachari at every step, following the Father's footsteps, Brahma Babas, to those who keep all their accounts of service overflowing, to those who have this determined thought for their self progress from their heart, and to those who make themselves the instruments to be number one in self service, to such souls who are loved by Baba and especially loved by the Mother Brahma, for today you celebrated Mother's Day as well. And so to the princely children of Mother Brahma, especially from the Mother Brahma and from Baba's heart, love, remembrances, and namaste. And we, the spiritual children, say namaste to the spiritual father. So I think it was Mother's Day that time as well. From 1990, also people have started celebrating in the yajna. So here we end the Murli. It was an abrupt end. So I'll stop sharing the screen. And today we have some more time for your sharings. Om Shanti. We'll spend a moment in silence. So you could start sharing. Thanks.
Om Shanti. So Baba says, the service, it's not just the outside service, but also the inside service. In the sense, self-progress should be there all the time. So Baba highlighted that if we give importance to the self-service, then that will also increase the outside service. So we not only focus on external service that will happen anyway, but equally we also need to pay attention to improve the quality, of our effort making that we are doing for for our personal prashad. So that really have a connection in terms of the service that we do outside, right? Because it's always based on our effort, that based on that we serve outside. So that will also increase the service. Yeah. So this is one takeaway for me then. from today's part. Yeah, thank you.
Om Shanti Manoj Bhai. So such a exhaustive service, Murli. Even to note down what it was. And I was just thinking, was this the final Murli? 25th March. I'm not sure. Like how Baba started from spirituality. Then he spoke about brahmachari. Then he also spoke about spiritual endeavor. And he said how the intellect is drawn more towards the means and less towards spiritual endeavor. And here also he said, if you have a relationship of the heart, constant relationship of the heart with the Father, that is spiritual endeavor, not simply sitting in yoga and the mind running here and there. So for this, he said, all the four, the mind, the intellect, the heart, the body, should sit together. There should be no fluctuation. And here he also explained about, Baba explained about tiredness. What is tiredness and why sometimes you come down, why the zeal and enthusiasm comes down. So the three things generally what he spoke of here is newness, flying stage, and attainment. And this we get it in the form of inheritance and blessings. Then he emphasized about surrendered souls. If a soul is surrendered, what it should do. Like they cannot give any, contribute anything like an outsider for the yajna. But still they have got a task, they can be economical in the task of the yajna. So that actually adds to their wealth. Then Baba also spoke about service through words, how the side of service through words has become heavy and enthusiasm also fluctuates. So Baba said, you must keep attention on this. And the attention should be easy attention, natural attention. Then he gave us something about global cooperation, which is another method where through the cooperation of others, we could also go forward in service, go forward to the completion of the task. So Baba spoke a lot about expense and also that's what, as I said, every paragraph Baba had a particular aim and thing. But today, and of course, he spoke about Sneh Millen. Then penultimate, he spoke about self progress. But he spoke about self progress, and in the end, I was just saying, he's saying it's not that definitely has to be self progress. You definitely have to do service, but that alone is not the one. It is you have to become number one, that is, you have to become Arjuna, and that's one part where I couldn't understand Manoj Bhai. Somewhere he discounts the self progress to say it's not the self progress, but it should be something love from the heart, something about sacrifice. So that paragraph I was not very clear about. What is it to become? What is progress? Is it becoming Arjuna? Is it just to increase the speed of efforts? Because Baba is saying the speed of the efforts of the servers is not great at all. It's not complete. So that particular part I couldn't relate about self progress. So that was one thing which I was just still churning. Then, of course, he speaks about coming down to Mount Abu and splitting the programs between Bharatvasis and foreigners. After even saying that, again he comes back at each service place. Let there be a program for self progress. That is what we call it as a retreat, gathering together. So you see, it's like a variety of recipes Baba has given for all. And when you are a server, I think one has to take on all that. And he's absolutely sure that everything in service he has covered and what newness you have to bring. So it's a very exhaustive Murli, not only for instruments, also for self service. And then he goes, of course, so how do you overflow the accounts of service? I think this is what I took from the Murli. But as I told you, that self progress paragraph, when he spoke about Arjuna, and Master Brahma, I couldn't get that paragraph perfectly well. If some light you can throw on only that paragraph.
Okay, so thank you so much for summarizing the entire Murli. So yes, as I said, when I was reading that Murli myself, I felt that Baba is saying self-progress obviously is whatever efforts we make. He started with the spiritual effort, the spiritual endeavor, which we say sadhana. So Baba is saying that we have become, Baba is saying and seeing both, that we have become very complacent in our effort making. We have become so dependent on devices, gadgets, that in some way or the other, this dependence has made our independence. Independence means inside. That has made us very complacent. And we are not up to the mark according to Baba. And Baba always says this, that the time should not be your teacher. It's not that a few more years I'll become complete. No, I don't know how many years I have in my kitty, which means in my life journey as a Brahmin. I don't know when I leave this body. So it should not be that time should be my teacher. Baba is my teacher. And then when I become complacent and my self progress is not up to the mark, then Baba gets disappointed in one way. And we are disrespecting Baba in that way because we are putting time as the supreme teacher rather than Baba, who is actually the supreme teacher. So this way, Baba therefore specifically said that now I don't want you all to waste time on your own effort, because otherwise some time goes for your own effort and sometimes for seva. And in many different ways, in many murlis, he's spoken that as time further goes, you all will not have time to sleep. Your sleep will also be like a yogi sleep, just for a few hours or maybe half an hour, 1 hour, whatever. I'm not being very time conscious here about that, but very little of sleep, and then you'll be so extremely busy because there'll be a big queue of seva for you, souls waiting either to meet you in person or to take a dishti from you. And that time we have to reveal Baba through our forms, whatever forms we have transformed and whatever we have attained. We have to give the vision of Baba from ourselves. So that time we'll be extremely busy. So for becoming that, becoming so powerful like Bab Saman or even Master Brahma, you have to really be so fast in our effort making. So it doesn't mean that he's negating that we should not be making self progress, but we have to speed up our self progress. That's what he's trying to say.
Because he
Okay.
says, stop investing in yourself.
Yeah.
That was what I did. Because what I felt it,
So
self progress, what I see, if you see the real meaning of self progress, starts from what you learn in the beginning, understanding yourself, loving, accepting, and all that. So I have to naturally, first, if I change, if I am there, I can be an example to others. So why at that point that now enough time of investing yourself in service, because I find swa unnati and seva ki unnati is very closely related. Every day checking myself is absolutely important. How do
yeah,
I measure that?
but his perspective of saying is not that don't do self progress. The perspective has to be understood that we have to be so fast that we don't give so much of time now in self progress because we have had so many years, we have done so much of self progress. So according to that perspective, Okay, which doesn't mean we should not be giving time for self-progress, but according to his perspective from today's Murli is give less time for yourself and more time for others. Make yourself so skilled and so powerful that people use yourself more for service than for self-progress. That's the perspective. Though we all of us know we are number-wise, we are still not ready to that extent. We know that we have still a lot of work to do upon. Okay. Yes. So it's 5:38. If there are any other, yeah,
Om Shanti.
just go ahead, Sanjay Bhai. Hope that's you speaking. Yeah. Okay. So if there are no sharings, maybe we can spend a few moments in silence.
Om Shanti.
Go ahead, Sanjay Bhai.
Baba, when talks about attainment, Baba talks about purity. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
So when Baba talks about purity, then Baba talks about service also. And for purity, unless until there is purity, we can't do service. Because service is just a radiation of what we are having inside. And before radiating, we have to see that whether the instrument that we have become is a perfect instrument. Because unless and until the instrument is perfect, the radiation will not be perfect. For that, mind, body, and soul should be synchronized with the Almighty Shiva Baba. And for that, what the base is that the chapter number 1, that is soul conscious. The first letter of service is as soul conscious. And unless and until we are soul conscious, then only we will be connected to Baba. And when we are connected to Baba, that means we are having the qualities of Baba. And when we are connected to Baba, we are having vibrations of Baba. That is, we have to do the Purusharth of being Bab Saman. And then in that process, what happens? The next letter E, that is embodiment of knowledge. And when we become Gyan Sarup and Gyan Amur, that is embodiment of knowledge, we become R, that is responsible, reliable, and a time comes to become Ruhani. And that is by inculcating the values, that is we. And in that process, what happens? The letter I which comes, that is not only for inspection, what we generally do when we are body conscious. But as we have to do purusharth in the state of soul conscious, then in place of inspection, we do go for introspection. And as when we go for introspection, we find the anomalies within. And then with the Gyan Darpan, that is Murli, which Baba gives us every day, we can transform ourselves. And while transformation, see, we have to be very, very careful. And when we are very, very careful, that yes, are we following Srimad line by line, word by word? Then the last letter E, we will excel from this world. That is, we can do the real service. This is the way that basically, unless and until we attain purity, but when we find the word purity, the P, the first letter P, that is purity leads to perfection. Purity is only possible by doing Purusharth. And with that Purusharth, we are uplifted from body conscious to soul conscious, and then reliable, and again I for inspection, then T for transformation. And in that process, we reach to a state that why is no more in our life. That is, क्यों क्या खत्म हो जाता है, and then we become really fit for doing service. So Baba today is talking about service. Baba is talking about also talking about self progress. Why? Because unless and until we progress, we cannot help others to progress. Unless until we are pure, we cannot tell others to be pure. For that, we have to become example. Baba was sample. Brahma Baba was sample. We have to become example so that then only people will follow. So self-progress, self-purity, and then we can radiate purity. Om Shanti.
Thank you so much for your sharing, Sanjay Bhai. And Bijit Bhai has just mentioned, I'll just take the few chat box sharings and then we'll finish. So Bijit Bhai is going on the willpower, that follow Brahma Baba in willpower. At first, he willed his wealth, where the yagya was established, and at the end, he willed his spiritual powers, where the service got expanded. And Amy Ben has written, true service happening through thoughts, words, and actions, and she's expanded on each of them. Thoughts is powerful thoughts, elevated words, and loving actions with the mind. Sorry, it's powerful thoughts, words, and actions, elevated words, loving actions. And with the mind, she's saying, give light and might. Through the words, make souls knowledgeful. And through actions and behavior, give the experience of the divine family. Okay, wonderfully said. So thank you all once again for your sharings. And if all is done, we can sit in silence and then exit. Thank you. Om Shanti. Thank you all once again.
Om Shanti. Thank you to Baba. Thank you, Manoj Bhai. Thank you, Divine Family. See you tomorrow at 5 a.m. Until then, have a lovely day.